with that being the checkpoint, let's hop in to our second segment, the patch notes. Frank, are you ready to take it away?
Yeah, we have a lot of news this week, so I'm going to get right into it. Our first article comes from Windows Central's Jez Corden. Final Fantasy XIV is about to eat World of Warcraft's lunch. So we talked about this earlier, of how we got into Final Fantasy at a very weird time. So 2021 has not been very kind to Blizzard. After recent backlash to the content being added and the direction WoW is taking, many players are leaving the popular MMO for other options. So yeah, if you haven't been following what's been going on in like the last week or two, World of Warcraft is having a very, very hard mass exodus. If I remember correctly, the metrics are like they've lost up to almost about 2 million players, and it's growing every day. Wow. And that is insane to think about, because at least growing up, I never played World of Warcraft. I mean, I played World of Warcraft, but I never played World of Warcraft like, Fee did. Yeah. But growing up, World of Warcraft's always been king of that market. They've always been the number one MMO. They've always held that number one MMO. And for years, I think we even had this conversation years ago, Mario, is just like, I don't think they're ever going to get dethroned. And we're starting to see the cracks finally show in Blizzard and stuff like that. We're seeing ex-Blizzard employees coming out and talking about how Blizzard is not how it used to be. It's a totally different workplace. There's leaks here and there that are unconfirmed, but I'm not going to talk about those because they're not confirmed. But if they are real, then the workplace is not a great place to work right now. You have Blizzard employees lashing out at players and players lashing out at Blizzard employees. And then you just kind of have Blizzard being very ignorant to their competitors right now. They don't seem to recognize any other MMOs as direct competitors to themselves, either though they are losing players to a specific one. Yeah. B, I know you are our Blizzard / WoW expert.
The resident,
because you've had the
resident Blizzard WoW expert.
Yeah. I hate to bring you back from your. I hate to bring you back from your MMO Anonymous, but please tell us how different Blizzard's direction is from where WoW was when you were in to where WoW is now.
Oh my god. Okay, how long do we have? Because it's gonna be a fucking doozy. No, it's just you could see it when I was playing it that the direction that they were taking when it came to like the overall story arcs and just what they wanted to do when it comes to like overall like player experience. It became not so great when I was playing it. To kind of give everyone who's listening some understanding of my time, I played for 5 years. I started right at the end of Burning Crusade, and I ended right around the first few months of Mist of Pandaria. So I played for 5 years, and I particularly stopped just because of the way that Cataclysm ended, which honestly was not a great way to deal with it. At that particular time, they rushed the end content for an expansion that they hyped for years, and then proceeded to say, oh, now we have competition. So they rushed the last raid. So you were just fighting essentially just a dragon head, and it was it. It wasn't particularly really great, well done. And the way that Blizzard kind of like dealt with it was like, you guys wanted this fight, here you go. But here, this is how we're gonna fix it, by giving you panda people. Congratulations. Like, no, it's been a while coming. I think they're really like understanding, or at least respect for their players ended at the end of Wrath of the Lich King. Like, you killed the Lich King. I'm sorry for spoilers.
Oh, dude, come on, man. I was gonna play this fucking 10-year-old expansion soon.
I'm sorry. At this point, it's 13 years old, which, oh my god, kill me now. But it's at that particular point, you just kind of saw this kind of shift And then ever since then, it's been a matter of taking these characters that are beloved by the fan base and just running them into the ground where they either should have died or lived happily ever after. They're just like, hey, you know what? We are going to take a person that had an evil arc, then died, became evil, like they were good-ish, they were like neutral, then they died, came back as a banshee, then proceeded to be evil, then had a redemption arc to just bring her back to be kind of like okay and then helping with the horde, but now she might be evil again depending on if she gets possessed by a specific being. Yeah. If you want to be, if you want to be confused, look up Sylvanas, Lady Sylvanas, you're welcome, who changed races, roles, and just overall absolute confusion. So it's just been really irritating to see that, and just the way that they've been dealing with the expansion since that particular point. There was Mist of Pandaria, there was Legion, and now we're just seeing a bunch of shifts where it's just I'm getting really heated and irritated by this because I played for 6 nights a week. I raided, I did arenas, I did PvP. My life revolved around World of Warcraft for such a long period of time. To just see them completely disrespect their player base is absolutely atrocious. Like, realize that you have a massive fan base. At their prime, they had about 32 million people subscribe per month, and it's been a nosedive since then. And now that they're upset that they have a very strong competitor, because, and the conversation that Frank and Mario was correct, they had a time where there was no competitors. They saw people come into the ring and say like, hey, we're a new MMO, to just get completely annihilated because people go to those from World of Warcraft and be like, you know what, nah. Like, yeah, there was Guild Wars.
Unless your ass is named EverQuest, no one gives a shit.
Yeah. Yeah, there was Guild Wars. Yeah, there was Lineage 2. There was there's Black Desert and all these other MMOs.
Matrix Online.
Lord of the Rings Online.
Yeah, and then there
DC
was
Online.
Yeah.
The Old Republic. There's a bunch of them, but none of them were as prevalent as World of Warcraft. And now that they have such a competitor such as Final Fantasy XIV, where they recognize like, hey, this is a place that you actually deal with, and like people, my goodness, a company that listens to their player base to a point that they actually realize that the first iteration of their game sucked so badly that it's now a story plot called and they're just like, hey, you know what, 5 years ago this event happened and now we've healed from that experience. Like, that is such a cool idea. And World of Warcraft has so many specific situations where they could have done something like that, but instead they took the money that they received from people paying subscriptions each month, dabbed their tears with $100 bills, and just threw it out. And right now, it's going from 32 million to now having 2.2 million concurrent.
2.2 million. That's such a stark. That's 30 million players lost within its height.
Yeah, because they used to have Mr. T, they had Lights, they had a bunch of these celebrities coming to talk about World of Warcraft, and now it's just, instead of realizing hey, we've lost a large part of our fan base to this other game, maybe we should do something different, they have people snapping at creators that are moving over to the this other game.
Yeah, we'll touch on the creator part in the next article, but it's honestly, it's weird because we're in a time with games where we have the people playing games right now have an actual voice, because you can directly talk to these people now on Twitter, Facebook, all these different platforms. The problem is that some people take it a little too far. Some people and it gets muddy. It every time a gamer wants to speak, a lot of the times the developer will just dismiss it. And I do think that's kind of bullshit, because you have to realize at the end of the day that the people who are criticizing your game are the ones who are playing it.
Yep.
However, I do know that people will take it too far. The way Blizzard is acting though towards their players, especially people like Asmongold, for example, the guy may be kind of an asshole every now and again, but the guy has been playing your game for over 8 years. If anybody knows what your game needs to keep its players playing that game, it's him. And calling him an asshole as a Blizzard employee is probably not a good idea when he is bringing in 200,000 people on a Twitch stream.
Yeah.
Which brings us to our next article. We'll talk more about the WoW thing. These two are very much together. Basically the second article is comes from IGN's Matt TM Kim. Final Fantasy 14 is so popular that Square Enix stopped selling it. So to piggyback on what's going on with the WoW Exodus, we definitely got into Final Fantasy 14 at a good time, because this week for a short period you couldn't even purchase the game. Reports show that for a while when you went to purchase the game on Square Enix's website, by the way, Square Enix, your website's shit. It's hard to purchase your game. When an ex-WoW employee is going on record saying your game is great, it took me 3 hours to even fucking purchase it, you know you have a problem. But
it's so bad, Mario. Mario Slide. It is so, like, you want to give them money. You're like, take my money, and they're like, nah, we don't want your money. It's like, are you sure? It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, like, what the fuck, dude?
So wait. Isn't this game a free download and then 60 levels or some shit?
Yeah,
but then after that, you can't pay for it more?
Well, I mean,
no,
you can play it.
You can play
there's
it.
There's no limit on playtime.
Got
up
it.
to level 60.
Got it.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, if you want to pay them, if, like, you know what, I like this game. This is a great game. I want to buy this game. It takes like hours to buy this game because you don't know where the fuck to go. You're like, do I have this account? Do I have this account? Or do I buy it off you guys? Or do I buy it off Steam? If I have a Steam account, I can't buy it off you guys anymore. What is happening?
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. But yeah, for a little bit there, when you tried to purchase the game on Square Enix's website, it would give you the option to be put on a wait list, which is insane because the game's digital.
So Final Fantasy 14 PS5 edition.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's coming out soon. PS5 edition for it. Yeah.
Hey, maybe that's when I'll start playing.
You get a free upgrade if you own it for PS4.
Oh boy.
So the reason why we moved over to this article quick because we're starting to talk about the other stuff. This does come from a big influx of recent controversies because of WoW and popular streamers like Asmongold and all these other streamers moving to Final Fantasy, who were previously WoW streamers, and these people are bringing pretty decent numbers from at least 10,000 to 200,000 at some point. I think the metric on Asmongold's stream of unique viewers when he was starting Final Fantasy 14 was 918,000 people who have tuned into that. So it doesn't look good on Blizzard's part when you have your biggest player going to another game and millions of people are or at least 1 million people are seeing that. But yeah, it's
so the whole thing with the keys is like they just didn't have enough pre-generated keys. That was the main problem. Like that's what happens when you have that kind of moment. But the thing is, like, the fact that, like, so when I started the game, our server was very small. It was a very small server. Not many people. Like, there was a lot of people there, but not many. Like, you could navigate and stuff like that. Now it's a queue to get into the server now. Like, what the fuck? I'm just trying to play it. Now there's like a 60 to 100 people like queue to actually get in. And just seeing this influx kind of makes me happy. And the fact that, like, this is even expansion time. Once the expansion hits, I don't know what's going to happen. When the new expansion hits in November. I have no idea what's going to happen. But like a lot of
I'd say Square Enix is just gonna be looking like this, just like straight scared, straight terrified.
Dude, that's gonna be them. Yeah, that's legit gonna be them.
I'm terrified.
Yeah.
Oh no.
The whole thing with like, so I've played classic World of Warcraft, and I've played this game when it first came out too. So like when you look at both of these games, I'm a more story driven kind of person. Like, I want story over everything else, and that's something that World of Warcraft just doesn't have is story. They have good lore. They have really, really good lore with all the characters, with like Arthas and Thrall and all these different characters that you have in World of Warcraft, or just Warcraft in general.
Yeah.
But when I was playing Classic, I was just like, there's no driving force that makes me want to go be like, you know what, one more story quest. It's just not there. With this game, there is like a driving force that makes you go like, oh man, I gotta see what happens next. Sure, there's filler quests and stuff like that. We're like, oh, you want to go get me 3 feathers? It's like, okay, well, fuck, fine. But like that comes with any kind of MMO. That comes with any kind of MMO, really.
Fuck, fine. I'll give you your 3 feathers.
They gotta pad out that $12 a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the thing is like, one of the other biggest things that I've noticed now is like, Final Fantasy keeps content that is 5 or 6 years old still relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Like today, when we finish this, we're gonna do a raid that came out 5 or 6 years ago, but it's still relevant because it's fun. It's a fun raid. It is something that is like the mechanics are really fun. The story is really good. But when you look at World of Warcraft, it's like you go to the end game and that's it. You miss everything that's in between from starting your character to end game because there's nothing. It's just fluff in the middle of it.
The issue is, and then they tried to combat this by having phasing areas, which I don't even want to talk about phasing areas because it's literally one of the banes of my existence, because I tried to go back during Legion to a point where I was so confused because it was phasing in and out and then it was freezing and then there was other issues, and I looked online and people were still having the same problem, and I'm like, they literally introduced phasing back in Cataclysm and you're still having this issue now, like 3-4 years later.
Phasing is like where you go into a zone, you have 3 different instances you can go into.
So what happens is you go into this area and nothing has happened. So they kind of do this in ESO, but it works in ESO. So you go into this area, you gain 1 quest. Once you've completed that 1 quest, more things open up in that area. But once you finish that quest, no one who's not been to that area before can see you, because now you are in different instances of this particular area.
Yeah.
Which they tried to do this to kind of, it seems like going to ESO for a little bit, because I played that last year for a few months. They successfully do that in that game because it's like world building, and then you see like, okay, so this massive like volcano in the middle of your starting area in ESO is about to explode because this particular god has been poisoned for months upon months. And then you see all this happening, and then the city at the end of the storyline becomes built, and you're like, okay, this is awesome. In World of Warcraft, it's just a matter of, it just didn't specifically work, and a lot of people put in comments on that, and instead they just added more to it, and it's just really disheartening for me because I was so in love with this particular like game for years. Like I had friends from that game. I had a lot of great experience in that game. I spent so much time and money and effort into that game, and to just see it kind of dwindle into this like almost like it's an ego fest at this point. And I'm going to explain why. They've realized that they've been on top for so long when it comes to MMORPGs, that now them trying to make any adjustments because someone might call them out on it is a hit to their ego, because they're like, no, we're the best. We have no problems. Why would we this multi at one point like hundreds of millions of dollar game now dwindled into essentially like a couple million users per month have any problems? Like people are specifically saying this, and it's not just one person. The reason why you're only hearing it from one person is because you're only paying attention to the guy who has over 100k viewers at one point on Twitch, because there's people who've been having the same fucking issue that when it comes to Twitch and when it comes to on World of Warcraft, because there have been actual streamers who said like, I've been having issues for months, if not years, when it comes to the World of Warcraft community and harassment and stream sniping, and Blizzard does nothing. But then when Square Enix sees that this is happening to a new person, while he might have a lot of viewers, they still listened and they banned a bunch of people that were stream sniping him and causing him to not be able to enjoy the game, because they're like, that's not how this game should be running. You guys shouldn't be griefing him. So it's really nice to see that. Yeah, I said some not so great things about Square Enix during E3 because I wasn't particularly thrilled with their games, but
I mean, half their games weren't looking good.
They weren't looking good, but they have a lot of integrity.
Integrity.
Thank you. For some reason, my mouth doesn't want to like make that specific like word happen.
It's a weird mouth feel.
Yeah, it's weird. But yeah, I know I've been ranting about this, but it's because I was so invested for
Yeah,
years.
I put
That
these
it-
in here just for you because like you're the WoW expert. I
It
haven't
just
played WoW.
bothers me, and I know I've been ranting to you guys while we were playing Final Fantasy about this, but it's just disheartening
No.
to see like this game that at the beginning was all about the players and was all about like, oh man, we're going to be experiencing this storyline and this thing together, to now like, let's throw it out there and see if the viewers are going to be happy with it, but we don't really care because we're making the money. And there are people who work at Blizzard who are like, who want to see better things for Blizzard, and I'm hoping that this is a wake-up call and that they take this as an opportunity rather than just sitting back and being like, hey, we've been the best for so long, because at this point they're not the best at this point. They're not the best in 2021.
There was an interesting thing that Yoshi P, the guy that the creative director behind Final Fantasy 14, he was talking about what it takes to make a good MMO, and like to run an MMO is like running a country, where you have to listen to your citizens. Yeah, you have to listen to people that are playing. Because the people that are gonna leave are the silent majority. They're the people that are gonna be like, they're not gonna say anything. They're just gonna leave.
Yeah, they're gonna give your exit survey like a lullaby.
Yeah, exactly.
Deal, you know what
right.
I mean? And that's what I was touching on earlier with that. Is just like, don't insult your fan base, the people who are playing your game.
Yeah.
Like, listen to them, see what kind of constructive criticisms they're giving you. Because like the MMOs are tough to make. They're tough to get off the ground, especially when you have games that are. Like you look at battle royales, it's kind of the same way. When you have Fortnite, you have Warzone now. It is so hard to get yourself a little piece of that pie now, because it is so it's just these two games suck out all the oxygen out of the room.
And it's not like building a normal game. Like, yeah, you have to like create the environments and create the story, but you also have to like, I mean, they bring in real ass economists in to design the economies. Like, you're literally creating a little world. Like, it takes so much work and so much investment before it can even get off the ground, that if you don't listen to the people who are telling you what problems they're having, it's not going to go anywhere and you're going to be screwed.
Yeah.
It sounds like if the government would listen to the people and what they want,
exactly,
and then actually make the changes.
Exactly. That's
the developers of the government. The people are the ones who inhabit it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Hot take.
Yeah, hot take. One thing that I really would like people to go look at is the No Clip documentary that is Final Fantasy 14. It's a three-parter, and just them going through development hell of 1.0 and then trying to keep that game running.
Oh, this game was trash fire when it
launched. Oh, it was so bad.
It was a dumpster fire.
It's because Final Fantasy 11 devs took over Final Fantasy. They started making Final Fantasy 14. You can't make Final Fantasy 11 modern day anymore. That game just does not work modern day. It's too grindy. There's just not people aren't patient enough to have like a Final Fantasy 11 kind of game. And plus, it feels dated too, very dated.
Sure.
So
it's a very stark contrast between how WoW treats like, you know, dumpster fires and how Square Enix treats dumpster fires. Because Square Enix said, you know what, you guys obviously don't like this. We can't continue to do this, or else we'll just keep bleeding. So we'll put a bandage on. We'll save face. We'll make an event. We'll scrap it all, and we'll just start from some scratch. And look what happened. And WoW is just like, well, guys. We know you guys want how WoW used to be, but this is WoW now, and you may not like it, but you're gonna, and that's just it.
Yeah,
it takes balls to do what Square Enix did.
Yeah, they apologized. It really
does take balls.
They apologized, and they kept working on 1.0 while they were working on 2.0. Like they kept the servers running. They kept little bug fixes and stuff like that to get like the game to a particular state, and then they got to the point where they're just like, "This is it. We are destroying this world." And then on the last day, everybody got the same cutscene once the servers went down, which is the first cutscene that goes into A Realm Reborn, which bridges the two games together.
It's fucking sick. By the way,
okay. It's fucking Fortnite stole that, because that's basically what Chapter 2 was.
Yeah,
like, it's sick.
Yeah, right when
that's sick.
Right when the servers went down, you get a message, and then right when you hit OK, you get the cutscene that bridges 1.0 to A Realm Reborn.
Yeah, Fortnite learned from that for sure then, because that's fucking crazy. They do that.
Yeah, and then
the
they
time.
use it. The Square Enix used everything. They said, "Fuck it." You know, we tried, we failed. Let's move on. They still reuse that. They use the story from that in A Realm Reborn. They just kind of say, "Hey, we have characters from that 1.0 moved over to 2.0, and we have story elements within it."
Do you know what I just realized? And this sounds really
Wow.
stupid of me for realizing this now because this has been out for years. Instead of fixing their game, they decided to release Classic because people actually enjoyed the game in Classic.
Yeah,
And then they brought out Burning Crusade because people still enjoyed it during Burning Crusade. And I'm very interested to see if they go past Wrath of the Lich King.
They will.
Because
They will.
yeah, but at that point, they might not even have us, like, it might not even be live anymore because people might not even be playing it at that point because we're looking at numbers that are getting like more people are playing Classic and Burning Crusade Classic than the actual game itself.
They should do like diverging timelines. Like, this is Classic, but this is Classic if we went this direction.
I would love that.
That would be great, actually. That'd be really
Multiverse.
awesome.
Yeah, it's a multiverse.
Well, here's
the
the
problem
thing.
is they would never do it.
Yeah.
Because they are too egotistical.
Well, yeah,
No, I agree.
because like Burning Crusade worked because there was a bunch of different elements that were just great. Karazhan, one of the best raids. There was a freaking like actual like chess fight that you have to do as well where you get onto chess pieces like a specific series that we're not going to talk about, but it's actually really cool. And then Wrath of the Lich King, the storyline just continued. Like it started in Burning Crusade with the zombies hitting the major cities to then the ending of Wrath of the Lich King, which was essentially the prime time, at least for me. And then and then Cataclysm. I would just love to see a multiverse where they just fix Cataclysm and then go from there.
Yeah.
Because pandas can still exist. I'm okay with pandas, but you're also not going to be seeing Cataclysm onward for at least another 5 to 6 years when it comes to Classic.
Oh, in 10 years, we're going to have fucking Shadowlands 2.0.
God.
What's crazy though is that like
So
I've been doing a lot
what we're showing right now is actually the cinematic right after 1.0 went out. So this is the cutscene to 2.0.
Yeah,
that you
this
get.
is what you this is what you got, and then this is what plays when you start up. I believe the game, right?
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
From what I can tell, at least in terms of like small little research here and there, it seems like the big drop off was Mists of Pandaria.
Yeah, it was 100% Mr. Pandaria. Like, it was. The substance just wasn't there. Like, yeah, it was really exciting to see pandas, cool beans. They're adorable. I like them. They're cool.
Yeah.
But like, it was just the same shit but different skin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was just a matter of.
It was, from what I can tell, it was that the content wasn't there, especially after what preceded it, and then it was a lot of the multiplayer elements were added. So to find like a raid or to find a group of people, which sounds good now, because a lot of these games kind of do need that kind of like matchmaking system and stuff like that, which Mr. Pandaria, from what I can tell, and correct me if I'm wrong, added that kind of like find other people for a raid system or find other people for a dungeon system. And then people like the fan base, like the community kind of dropped from there because you didn't have to interact with people anymore. You had places that were bustling with people looking for other people to do dungeons and raids with, and those same places after Mists of Pandaria were empty because you didn't have to have that interaction with players anymore. It kind of alienated your player base.
Well, yeah, what we used to have to do, and it's the same thing with Final Fantasy, is they have a queuing system, so you can queue up for dungeons, you can queue up for raids, and go that way. Because it would be called like LFG and LFR, looking for group and looking for raid. And then that was introduced in like looking for group had always kind of existed in some capacity. It started really around Wrath of the Lich King. Yeah, what's up?
I'm laughing because while I know LFG stands for looking for game, every time I see it, I think it's let's fucking go.
It goes the same way. Yeah, it goes.
Yeah, I mean, let's fucking go.
Yeah,
let's fucking go.
Also, for people that are in chat right now, Mario. Okay, Mario was.
Let's fucking go.
Mario is auditioning for National Treasure 4 at the moment.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
That was his AFK screen, guys.
Yeah. It's gonna be starring. It's gonna be starring Mario.
Mario.
He's replacing Nicolas Cage.
That's right.
I'd watch that movie.
There you go. No, it's just the substance just didn't feel like it was there, and that's why I left. Is because I was just like, okay, I'm currently doing dailies in an area and just flying around the same area again, and it was like a circular going, like it was like a clock. You would just kind of like go around in this circle to do all your dailies and then do it again and then do it again. And it just didn't really interest me after that. Yeah, I was excited for pandas, but then I was just like, this isn't keeping me into this game anymore. And at that point it was like 2013. So I just stopped playing.
We do have something that, so we can button this up now with the MMO stuff.
Yeah.
I just want to say that we do have something coming up for 4 Point in Progress that we're really, really excited about. The 3 of us have workshopped it, so we're going to let everybody else know kind of like what our idea is, and we'll pitch it to you, to like Mario and Sly, and just kind of what we're going to be doing with that side of it. But yeah.
Ooh,
One
secrets.
last thing. Final Fantasy is breaking its concurrent player records daily right now. Daily, they're breaking records.
I mean, when all of your freaking like all your servers, they don't allow you to make characters on them, then that's something right there.
Yeah,
like there were people trying to play with us that couldn't get into the server that we were on.
Yeah. I'm glad Asmund did not join our server, or else we would have some insane queue times.
Oh, I'm so happy.
He almost did.
He tried. His first one was Adamantoise. And he got blocked out of it.
He made a character and they got blocked.
Yeah, I just want to say,
by the time Endwalker comes out, Dustin, they have to make server upgrades.
They're already starting.
What they'll do is what they did for the previous one is make instances for each of the zones, and then take it out once. Because when Stormblood came out and Shadowbringers came out, there were 3 instances for each of the zones that you could zone into randomly, unless you're in the same party. Then you all zone in the same one, but they took it out after about 2 months after the thing came out. She's about to sneeze. Were you about to sneeze?
Trying not to like open mouth yawn.
Oh, okay. But
wow. Well, apparently we're boring feet asleep.
No.
But yeah, no. I just want them to upgrade their servers and get ready for, because Endwalker is going to be stupid busy.
Yeah.
All right.
I will say this before we continue. I've said this once before and I'll say it again. People, just remember that the devs that work at your favorite game studio are probably not the same devs you remember who made your favorite games. Instead, a lot of these people, we are old enough to now be fans of these games and working for those studios. Devs, I understand, everything's kind of changed, but remember, you may hate the people who made those games before you, but remember, people play those games because those people made those games great, and to shit on their legacy does not leave for a good future for the studio on both sides. Remember, people, stop shitting on devs stop shitting on people, because remember, those people will pay for your games. But yeah, our next article. Yeah.
Don't be an asshole.
Our next piece of news, and this came out of fucking nowhere, by the way, comes from The Verge's Jay Peters. Valve's gaming handheld is called the Steam Deck, and it's shipping in December.
Oh my god.
And you can pre-order it today.
This thing fucking came out of nowhere.
Yeah. I have an early copy of it right now, actually.
The Game Gear.
I actually, yeah, I have an early one right here. Valve sent it to me. They said, "Hey, can you test it for me?" And I was like, "Okay, cool." It came with a copy of fucking Sonic the Hedgehog, but I was
I mean,
that's
Sega,
awesome.
I mean, Sega's just selling everything that they have, you know.
That is awesome.
Anybody will take Sega stuff.
I have an early Steam Deck here.
I love
it. It runs like shit.
Terminator 2,
like 40
so
batteries.
Great.
So
Yeah,
what's the controversy with the actual size thing with it? Because was there another model that got announced?
It's a pound and something, right? It's
no. I mean the internal storage.
We'll get to that right now. So so the Steam Deck, Valve's producing it. They produced it in house. Not produced it, but like they designed it in house and stuff like that. This is for the most part their handheld. It features an AMD APU, which is basically just a CPU with a GPU like built into it. AMD's been doing insanely good with these things. A lot of these computers that are coming out have AMD's APU built into it, which, if I remember correctly, you can play Forza, like the newest Forza that's out right now, up to at least 50 FPS on integrated graphics, which is insane. You don't need a graphics card. This is all in the CPU built in, which is why you're seeing a lot of these smaller form factor stuff come out, like tablets and laptops, and of course the Steam Deck itself. It starts at $399 with a 64 gigabyte eMMC version, which I couldn't really figure out what eMMC and SSD differences are, but apparently it's still flash memory, so it's kind of an SSD, but not really.
Yeah, it's just another like a brand of SSD, pretty much.
Yeah, it's not as fast as a standard SSD, but it's still technically an SSD.
Probably for cost purposes they went with that one.
Oh yeah, definitely cost purposes. Comes with a 256 gigabyte SSD for $529, 512 gigabyte SSD for $649. These are NVMe SSDs, so these are actually pretty good SSDs. It can be connected to a TV or monitor. It runs a new version of SteamOS, but apparently, reportedly, you can actually flash Windows onto the thing. So you can actually just have a like a Windows, tablet, and just load anything onto it if you want to. It has native Bluetooth audio, which
nice.
The Switch doesn't for some reason still, even with its OLED version.
Yeah.
And I think this thing is absolutely insane because right now it's hard to get a console. It's hard to get a computer. It's hard to get anything right now. And this comes in at under a PlayStation 5 and under an Xbox Series X. And if you can stream on it and you can play games natively on it, it's a damn good deal. It's an insane deal.
It also looks pretty sexy, I have to say.
Yeah, I like the controller placement. It seems like it's comfortable from what people are saying.
I don't mind. I don't mind the parallel joysticks because like I've been playing PlayStation for a long time, so like I like that kind of stuff. This thing looks cool.
I had reservations about it because the way that it looks, right? It has the joysticks and then the buttons like placement, like almost feeling like it's parallel, which normally I would think was odd, but it has switches on the back of it. Very much like the Elite controller. So you can those are programmable, I assume, so that way you can use it for those different functions that you normally would put for that. So your fingers never really could leave the sticks if it's possible. But yeah, I find this thing fascinating because with money on the paper, this is something that I probably should invest in only because my library fucking insane how many games I have on there. So it's like all of the games that I've had just sitting there waiting for me. Yeah, look at this sexy thing on stream. Some of these games I just did not even play. Now I have like an excuse to just try this thing out because I have so many games already built in.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
I'm gonna go grab my food. I'll be right back.
Okay, that's what Dustin's saying. It's like it's universally cumbersome, but like this, and plus this thing, like so the main problem that I had with the Wii U gamepad was the fact that it was a Fisher Price toy. In the end, it was a Fisher Price toy.
100%.
Like you could get like your kid could like look like just like throw it on the ground, it would just shatter in like 50 different pieces. This is a hefty thing. It's like what, 2 pounds or something like that? 3 pounds?
It's heavy. It's heavy from what I understand.
Yeah. So like it looks like it's got good heft to it. I like the 2 back buttons. That is freaking awesome. Because I feel like every controller should have back buttons now. And like, Yeah, I don't know what the pads at the
Agreed.
front. I don't know what the pads.
Are those touch screens? Is that what that is?
I
Is it a touch thing?
I don't know.
Touch. Imagine there.
Touch pads. Yeah.
Or even more, capacitive buttons. I don't know.
The only thing that for me is the downfall is the size of the actual SSD inside. That's where I have the biggest problem with.
How big is it?
The base model is 64 gigs, which is barely a game. Maybe one game.
Yeah.
It depends on what kind of games you're playing.
I mean,
if you're an indie person,
if you're looking at Control, that's literally 100 gigs. That's on a 100 gig game. What the hell are you gonna do to try to play Control on your?
My entire Steam library is basically indie games. So
I mean, also
that's fine.
Well, the other thing you can do on there,
I get real games.
No, of course,
real big games.
So you can also stream to it. So that's an option. I mean, it's interesting because I see this as an option of like, oh, I could take my games on the go, but realistically, I just play my games handheld, sitting in my bed. So it's like to give me that option, I could just stream it straight from one thing to another. I mean, that's to me kind of interesting. And it's almost like taking a mobile computer to your friend's house, so you can all connect to it.
I'm trying to figure that out right now, Dustin. If the storage is removable, so you can add.
It is not removable.
So it's
you can add a memory card in.
Okay. So you can put more SSD.
You can do a micro SD. Yes.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah, I did see that. I mean, to be honest with you, and I'm looking at the pricing. I mean, where you're showing, I believe this is the Canadian pricing.
This is Canadian. This is Canadian.
I mean, when I looked at the Canadian, or even looking at this, I mean, this is no different than iPhone, right? iPhone sells at 64, 128, or 256 now is actually their second standard, and then 512 there's the highest one. So, yeah, I mean, this to me is just a standard when it comes. I'm shocked that actually Switch doesn't have these options. That they don't have more tiers,
Fast storage.
You think Nintendo's gonna do something practical,
right?
But Shotgun, when you were saying like the thumb placement, but I feel like that's the difference between like I guess an Xbox controller and a PS controller, like a PlayStation controller, where I don't mind them being at the top instead of offset.
Yeah.
Right. I don't mind the
and
parallel
for me it was the fact that they're like this, but right next to it is D-pad and buttons. That to me is the weird part. But like I said, if the buttons in the back there can supplement for that, then I think that's okay.
If you could just remap the D-pad buttons to the back, depending on what you need to do, you're golden after that, right?
Yeah. Hopefully, 4 inputs, right?
Exactly, because that's kind of like what I do for my Pro controller, my Elite controller. Yeah. I just program the back buttons as like something that I need extra for. So no, this thing came out of nowhere.
No, actually really I think this definitely got announced at one point, but I forgot about it.
Yeah, I did not expect that.
Totally forgot about it. It was not even on my radar until I saw it. I was like, because I saw it on the IGN video, because they have the IGN first there, and them running through questions about it, I'm like, this looks not real. Like the fact that they have a PC device that you can just carry like that, like it's pretty crazy. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, it's pretty hefty too, and that makes sense. It's gonna need to be a big chunker. But yeah, I mean, again, the proposition of me being able to play, like I pulled up my Steam account, like I'm trying to see how many games are here, but it's like over 400. So it's like, I could have hours and hours of use of this thing.
Oh yeah, easily.
Realistically, do you think y'all are gonna pre-order it?
Not pre-order.
No, I'm not gonna pre-order. Yeah, I'm gonna wait.
Yeah,
this is something like I barely even use my Switch. Like
I might wait till Gen 2. I might wait till Gen 2.
This thing gives you a little bit more of like an incentive to buy it because I have Steam and I play games on Steam. I legit play games on Steam all the time. Yeah. And I don't play anything on my Switch. My Switch just sits there.
I did pick up Skyward Sword. I'm very excited to play that. But yeah.
I mean, Skyward Sword, yeah, I do not like the game, but Skyward, like, it's cool that people can actually play that game now.
On a controller,
and especially with a controller now. Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm excited to try that. But
what did I miss?
Yeah. No, we're just still talking about it. Like generally, what are your thoughts on it, Frank? Like,
I don't like the control scheme. The problem with that is just because when you have to, I don't know how to better explain it. When you have to do this with your fingers, it leads to hand cramps right here, right? So when you're holding a controller up here and trying to like have everything kind of like pushed up there, it doesn't feel good. I have the same problem with the Switch. It's just the controls are too high. They need to be lowered a little bit. Your thumb should be down here, not all the way up here. But as long as they do a good like back hump, which is like that little side there, it'll be as good as the Wii U tablet, because the Wii U tablet feels good in the hand.
Yeah, that's what Dustin was talking about. Like, it feels good, but it just feels like a Fisher Price toy.
Oh yeah, it feels terrible like in terms of construction, but in terms of like holding it and everything like that, because it uses that kind of like Wii, like original Wii kind of like handle.
Yeah.
It feels so good in the hand. And as long as Valve does something similar, it'll feel good in the hand, hopefully.
Yeah, and it's heavy, it's hefty, right? So I think that's what's going to be a big factor for it as well.
I'll probably pick one up, mainly just because if you can actually load Windows on this thing, I would like it for like a little kind of just small little Windows tablet I could just kind of carry around with me everywhere I go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can plug it into a TV. So like if you're out and about and if you're just like kind of like, you know, going around, let's say you're like someone who travels or goes to like hotels or something like that. You basically kind of have a mini gaming laptop with you at all times. But instead, this gaming laptop, you can kind of just, you can control. You can play it on the bus. You can play it on the plane. You can play it anywhere. No. And at $400, that's an insane value that you're getting, especially because you're getting a decent AMD APU. You're getting, may not be the best SSD in the world, but you're getting an SSD, a screen, controls. I just hope Valve takes care of this as much as they've taken care of the Valve Index. Because the Index did not have the best of launches in terms of just controllers and stuff like that. And we all know what happened to the Steam Link and the Steam controller. They basically got
Steam boxes. Remember Steam boxes?
Yep,
oh my
Steam
God.
boxes.
It all, I guess, if it's still in the semiconductor realm, we're still going to see a shortage of it probably. If it's got that same thing. We're going to see shortages of this thing. It's going to be hard to get your hands on one of these things.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be as crazy as like 3070s or anything like that, but we'll definitely see some shortages of these things. Yeah. But in terms of just like overall value, it's an insane value. You're getting a lot. A lot of people like to talk shit on consoles and say, look, I can make a PC for like $400, $500 and it'll be better than a console. And they forget that you're not factoring in the cost of a controller.
And a game.
Because no matter what, you can probably build a PC for like $400, $500 that'll be comparable to like a Series S, but you have to remember a Series S comes with a $60 controller. You know what I mean? And this has everything kind of built in. USB-C ports, it has fans on it, has it just has everything you kind of need for a mobile console. This right here is what the Switch should have been. This is what the Switch Pro it should have been.
The fact that this can play Forza at like a good solid 50 frames is huge. Yeah. When a Switch can't play Zelda at 720p 30 FPS.
It may not have an OLED
3060.
screen. Goddamn, I'd rather
2060.
Yeah, I'd rather play games at least 30. You know what I mean? If you're gonna have a console like that, but that's 1080p 30 at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm actually kind of excited for this. I'm gonna keep my ear to the ground on it. I'm not gonna pre-order it mainly just because I know Valve's track record with pre-ordered items. Yeah. It's not necessarily that you pre-order it and you're gonna get it on that day. It's you're gonna be put into a wait list and you're gonna get it whenever you fucking get it.
Yeah, I said I'm opting for Gen 2. I think if they do a Gen 2 of this, I might get into it.
Yeah, I would like a little bit of a bigger screen. Does this? I didn't actually check this up. Does it have a touchscreen on it, or is it just?
I think it is a touchscreen, but there's those two like boxes in the center that I'm not sure if those are buttons or what. But I don't know. It does. I know that if you buy the more expensive version, you get a capacity like a screen that like is anti-glare. So you got that if you pay for the more expensive one.
Yeah, but that's basically it. I'm gonna probably buy it, use it as a window, flash the shit out of it.
It's got a 7-inch touchscreen.
It's a touchscreen. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, that it's got everything you kind of need.
It's got 2 mic jacks on it as well.
What?
Yeah.
So that's actually pretty cool.
So this is what I'm looking at right now. I'll show you guys what I'm looking at for this right here.
You don't have a confident screen up.
I do.
It's in Twitch. It's in Twitch. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry. So this is kind of what I'm looking at right now. So this is all like the
noise canceling for 2 microphones. Interesting.
And then this is the headphone jack. Oh, this is the Type C. Okay, so these are the Type C's, and this is the headphone jack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you could probably even like there's so much versatility in something like in an item like this. And again, this isn't the first time this has been introduced. There have been many other people as everybody on Twitter is starting to say like this isn't the first time. It definitely isn't the first time, but it's the first time a big company like Valve have jumped into that mobile PC Switch kind of looking thing market, and for a company like as big as Valve who make VR headsets and have Steam, you know what I mean, like a big marketplace, this is a big deal. It's kind of like it's almost on the same level as if Microsoft made one, you know what I mean, because they have their own marketplace. Steam has their own marketplace. Steam has millions of players.
Hey, you probably can run Game Pass on this.
You can,
which is incredible.
Confirmed.
There's that, and I mean one other thing. Can I run Fortnite on it? That's all I want to know.
If it can run Forza, it can run Fortnite. If your phone can run Fortnite,
I guess
can I get the Epic browser?
No, but no. If it runs Windows, maybe you can just install Epic Game Store on there. And you can run it that way.
It's the only way.
There's been articles coming out. You can run Epic Game Store. You can do Game Pass on it.
Stadia?
I imagine if you can load Windows on it, you can probably load Stadia on it. Which is why I was saying earlier, like even if this thing isn't as powerful as it is, you can still stream games on it. Like Game Pass, Stadia, all that. No matter what, like this thing is a beast in terms of streaming and everything like that. But other than that, we should probably move on.
Yeah.
Well, since Fee's not here, I'm just gonna Gatling gun through these last few articles. Bethesda's Ghostwire has been delayed to 2022. This comes from Collider's Lacey Wong. I did not see that coming. No. I'm disappointed. My day is ruined.
Suck it, Sony.
R.I.P.
Take your time, man. Take your time. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, take your time.
You shouldn't have fired that cute girl, all right? It's because you fired that cute girl. That's why it's delayed.
Damn.
What cute girl?
The one that like made this game super popular in the first place. Nier Automata is getting a Steam update. This comes from PC Gamer's Molly Taylor. If you haven't played Nier Automata on Steam, it is a dog shit experience unless you mod the shit out of it. You know what I mean? There is a good mod out there, and kudos to whoever created that mod. You are a fucking god, because I would never have been able to play the game on PC without you. But it seems like they're finally starting to update it. It's going to get 4K, it's going to get standard PC stuff that should have already been there in the first place. You're going to be able to change resolutions and stuff like that.
Play this game.
There is no excuse now not to play this game on Steam.
This is going to make me play this game.
It's going to be good.
This is one of the best soundtracks I've heard ever in my life. Such a great
play
game.
it, fix it, break it.
Do it. Format it.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, wait till the Final Fantasy 14 new raids when we get to that point. Oh my god!
That sounds There's new raids in Final Fantasy. There's Nier Automata raids there, and it has the music and shit.
That's awesome.
From what Harv told me, I haven't seen it yet. Christopher Judge was announced as Black Panther's voice actor in Avengers. This comes from Polygon's Ryan Gilliam. I'm excited. Christopher Judge has an amazing voice.
Are you still playing Avengers? Because
I will. Okay. when this drops, I'll play
Avengers.
it. Hell yeah! I gave 4 people games, so we all should play it.
Yeah, no,
I wasn't one of them.
No, Mario, I have it installed. I installed it.
I
opened
installed
it up. I took a look at it. I made sure that the video settings were good, and then I played Final Fantasy.
Got him.
Got him.
God damn it.
Apparently Netflix is this comes from Netflix themselves. Netflix is getting into the games empire.
They had that press conference or whatever during E3 week, whatever. It's fine. All right.
What suggestion this again, and if this happens, Netflix, you owe me money, but I will give you a suggestion. Start selling little USB sticks with Netflix on it, but that also has Xbox's Game Pass on it. So you can do both, and then have Game Pass like games available through the Netflix browser, and it will sell like hotcakes, and everybody will love you.
Well, right now the
I
rumor
know that.
right now is Netflix is partnering with Sony with something.
Ooh,
So I don't know what that.
maybe a Ghost of Tsushima movie / anime or something like that. I don't know,
I'd be
or
here
Last
for
of Us
that.
anime.
Boy.
And then the last piece of news is that Cracked, and this is pirated for the uninitiated. RE8 runs exponentially better than purchased copies.
Oh my
Capcom
God.
is issuing a fax to fix this.
Shocker.
So if for the uninitiated, if you don't know, DRM is very is good for developers because it makes it very hard for people to crack your game and play it for free. It's basically like an always online authenticator that's constantly in the background that's making sure that your game is authentic. Almost every game on Steam uses it. It's very rare that the games don't, but apparently RE8 is being very much bogged down by this DRM because it could use a lot of resources, and Capcom is now issuing a patch to fix this. More than likely, they're probably going to turn off the DRM because it's already been cracked. There's no point in having the DRM in the fucking first place.
The DRM is the main thing. It's one of the main reasons why you get a lot of FPS loss and a lot of like problems with your game is DRM.
So it runs perfectly on PS5.
There's a form of DRM on there, but it's not as crazy.
Yeah.
And that's it for the news this week, guys. There is a free subscription update.
Subscription game?
Yeah, is there a free subscription update?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels like what?
She's like, I declined to talk right now.
Great question. Now, I heard that Epic had a game coming out this week for free, so I'm just currently going to take a sip here. Cool.
Slurp, slurp, slurp.
Wow. Man, I'm so happy my computer runs super fast and I totally have this downloaded.
While we're waiting for Fee on that, Dimebag says Christopher Judge has to drop boy at least once. And
Yes.
I agree. If Black Panther doesn't say boy at least once, I don't know what.
My boy.
Boy.
Cool. So they this week on Epic for free games they have Off-World Trading Company, Save Humanity, Turn a Profit, preferably both. It is a space trading game which seems pretty interesting, and then there's Abduction from the creators of Myst is currently free this week as well. A sci-fi adventure from Cyan, the creators of Myst. Abducted far across the universe, you find yourself on a broken alien landscape with odd pieces of Earth. Explore, uncover, solve, and find a way to make it home. Those are the two games that you can get for free this week.
For space trading.
Yeah, so yeah, Abduction as well as Off-World Trading Company. All you need to do is download Epic and you get free games. It's I guess you also have to create an account.
I still don't like the Epic Game Store for the stuff it does in the background, but hey, you got to respect them for giving out a lot of free games.
They give out free games every single week, which is absolutely mind-boggling to me. It's bonkers. All you need to do is make sure that you claim them to be able to get them, because like right now, Off-World Trading Company is $32.99, and then let's see how much.
Nobody wants to pay that.
Abduction, $32.99 Canadian, which is $2 American. I'm just joking. It's probably about $29 American. No, it's honestly, I think it's a really cool system. I know that Epic does some pretty not so great things, but the free games is definitely appreciated.
You know what's my grievance with Epic right now? Is that they're making me wait 60 days to get Superman off this new battle pass for no reason. It's not cool. All right.
Really, that's your problem, not the mining of your data every day.
Current problems. I can't get Superman. Now it's been a month, so I have to wait 27 days to get my Superman skin.
Yeah, can't confirm it.
Take the mining my data. I just will not stand for.
I will buy the
lack
skin.
of Superman skin.
I will buy the skin. Just give me the skin.
They're waiting to get $29 worth of data off you before they release it.
Listen, I bought all of the Batman skins, so you can't hold on. You can't rob me of that. All right, give me my Superman skin. That's all I gotta say.
Oh,